Joining me now, my friend Liz Wheeler of the Great Liz Wheeler Show, which you can watch right here on the First TV. Liz, we need oil for at least another decade, Liz.
I mean, Joe Biden wasn't even the one high on cheese balls, Jesse. That's supposed to be you. And yet he's the one making these asinine comments. I mean, all I could picture when he said that was this electric car apparatus that he's talking about, chargers all over the country. And yet, if that happened, the scenario that we would face would be government bureaucrats dictating who could charge their cars and when and for how much, because we would have rolling energy blackouts because our electric grid could never handle it. The green energy agenda, I know this is so controversial to say, is such a hoax. It is underpinned by climate alarmism, whose predictions in the last 50 years have never come true. Their goal is just to control our lives, and if they ban fossil fuels, the human cost would be more apocalyptic than anything they've predicted would happen to our planet.
Liz, I'm glad you bring this up because I try to bring this up as often as I can. I don't think the normal person actually understands what these do-gooder policies actually will result in. There are so many people out there in the middle or on the right, oh, they're misguided, or oh, that won't work, or oh, the solar panel will fail in 10 years. I don't think people have fully wrapped their minds around. We're talking about the death of like 1 billion people, and that's not overshooting, that's probably undershooting. People don't really get it.
No, they don't, because it's the oldest tactic in the book, right? To look at someone and say, your life is in danger, your loved ones are in danger, your future's in danger, our planet's in danger, especially to a generation of young people who are not very religious, who are afraid of death because they don't believe in the afterlife. They worship themselves. Their life now, their lifestyle on Earth is the highest thing to which they aspire. Telling them that that's threatened, which is what the climate alarmists do, is terrifying. It's instilled, it's been drummed into children for my generation and Gen Z, millennials and Gen Z. People are terrified, and when they're that fearful, we saw this with COVID too. When people are that fearful, they are blind to reality. They are blind to tyranny. It wasn't an accident that climate alarmists picked fear as their weapon, because fear is the best way to put a mask, well, no pun intended, but a mask over someone's face. It's the best way to blindfold someone. They knew what they were doing, and people fell for it.
I can't believe there was no pun intended there, Liz. You should have just ran with that pun like I would have, because I have no shame or really moral founding at all.
It's like midnight. I heard it come out of my mouth, and I was like, oh, that was funny.
No, you nailed that. You nailed that. All right, Liz, I've been asking everyone
Thanks.
tonight. That's actually a lie. I think I forgot to ask the last guest, but I've been asking everyone tonight what stood out to them, because you and I, we're political people, Liz. I know you were watching every single minute. I was at least half watching every single minute. I was watching in some way. What stood out to you? Very little was shocking. There was something, though, that Liz Wheeler thought, really? What was it?
Oh, 2 moments stood out to me the most. The first moment was when Jill Biden gave a big smoocheroo to Kamala Harris's husband at the beginning of the speech. Yes, thank you for putting that photo up. Just what I wanted to see again. Burned in my mind. That's not normal. Like, this is, people look at this and they don't believe that this is normal, right? This is very strange, very odd, boundaryless behavior. And I don't think I'm alone in saying that it bothered me to watch this. So that was the first thing that stuck out to me. Just reminded everyone that Joe Biden is a creep. Apparently, you know, Kamala Harris's family and Joe Biden's wife are creeps as well. That's the first thing. The second thing is a little bit more political. The second thing is the contradiction that Biden presented in his speech when he claimed that he wanted to partake in a unity agenda. He said, I want to work with Republicans who are willing to work with me. I want to be bipartisan. I want to find common ground. This plays very well to the American public that aren't as politically aware, people that aren't, you know, political nerds like you and I that watch this constantly troll Twitter. This is something that is very palatable. The American people have an appetite for bipartisanship because they don't understand what it means. And this moment when Joe Biden said that really said to me that this is going to be the strategy that the left left employs between now and November of 2024. They are going to pretend once again to be centrists because the American people have been very turned off by how radically left Biden's administration so far has been. The crime in inner cities, the border crisis, the fentanyl, the opioid deaths that Biden mentioned, critical race theory, queer theory, inflation, gas prices, the whole laundry list of problems that Biden has inflicted on our people in the name of his radical leftist agenda has been a turnoff. He's going to go back to his 2020 strategy, his pre-2020 strategy, and try to convince the American people that he is willing to work across the aisle. He's just a common sense politician. And Jesse, this is going to work unless the Republicans don't let it work. The Republicans have the opportunity and the responsibility and the capacity to stop Joe Biden's strategy because they control the House of Representatives. McCarthy, as the leader, as the Speaker of the House, can bring every pivotal issue where the American people on the left and on the right agree, like school choice or abortion or critical race theory. He can bring that to the floor of the House of Representatives for a vote and force Democrats to go on record voting in opposition of something that their voters actually support. And it's only that, if McCarthy does that relentlessly and wages a PR campaign on that Joe Biden's strategy of becoming a centrist again for 2024 can be stopped. That is my biggest takeaway from this speech.
Liz, I know you're one of those weirdo health freaks. I know, I'm married to one of those people. I've got to have a vegan smoothie or something like that in the morning. I know you're one of those people. I want you to be honest with me, Liz, and be real honest. Have you ever had cheese balls? Like ever once in your life, has a cheese ball ever crossed your lips?
First of all, the picture of you holding the cheese balls is nearly as offensive to me as the picture of Jill Biden kissing Kamala Harris's husband. So that's the level of crunchy that I am. Yes, I used to eat trash. I used to eat trash too. I didn't become such a health freak, Jesse, until late teenage years. So I used to eat garbage too, just like you do.
Wow, garbage. That's a little bit hurtful. All right, Liz, let's go back to Joe Biden. Let's go back to the speech
Speaking
itself.
of hurtful, can I interject for a second?
Yeah, go.
Oh, I don't know. Not very many people picked up on this moment, and I thought it was so hilarious because it was such a rude thing for Joe Biden to say when he looked at people, and this is an audience, remember, these are members of Congress, House members and members of the Senate, and he said a lot of people in this room have diabetes, suffer from diabetes, and I thought to myself, that is the most hilarious passive-aggressive thing. He just about pointed his finger at these people in the room and called them fat and unhealthy, and he just got away with it. Nobody even reacted, but I thought it was hilarious.
It is hilarious. And actually, boy, that gives me a great idea. I'm totally going to do that at the next speech I give. There's a lot of people with diabetes in here. Oh, man, definitely you, lady. Let's see how that lands. All right, Liz. Finally. I thought, and this is just, maybe it's just me. Maybe it's the cheese balls. I don't know what it is. I thought it was oddly positive in tone for Joe. I mean, you know what the last 2 years have been like. It's we're losing patience with you, the winner of death, and all these other things. And I'm not saying it was good by any stretch of the imagination, but it did seem more of a positive tone. Did you catch that? And if you did, what do you make of it?
It's just political pandering. He didn't touch on almost any of the issues that the American people that have been at the forefront of the American people's lives for the past 2 years. The reason he didn't is because his policies in regard to whether it's COVID or critical race theory or his vilification of Republicans in his Gates of Hell speech, calling us all domestic terrorists and extremists, that kind of stuff doesn't play well with the American people. I mean, it might cause some voters to be hesitant about publicly admitting that they're Republican, but truthfully, the American people after 2 years realize that kind of stuff that Biden is embracing is harmful. It's harming, the kitchen table economics type of policies. It's harming their ability to live their life and go to the grocery store and interact with relatives who might have different political views than they are. So it's not that Joe Biden is positive. It's just a cynical political calculation. He's trying to rebrand himself as being in the center, literally, 2-3 months after he called all of us terrorists. I don't buy a word of it.
You know what I'm positive about, Liz? You need to try some cheese balls, maybe in that weirdo vegan chili you're always threatening to make me try. Liz Wheeler of The Great Liz Wheeler Show. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you. The chili's on the stove right now. I'm going to eat some as soon as we're off air.
Oh, gosh. Jeez, that's just terrible.